The Foley cookie dropper was manufactured by the Foley Company of Minneapolis from 1950 to 1964. Other companies manufactured similar items later on, some fairly recently, although none are in production today. The Foley Company manufactured an array of innovative kitchen items in the early to mid-1900s, including a food mill and a one-handed flour sifter, which, for a flour sifter, was pretty revolutionary. Today, the cookie dropper is no longer in production. In most American kitchens, the cookie dropper has either been done away with altogether or replaced by the cookie scoop. While cookie scoops do offer a uniform shape every single time, each scoop is limited to only one cookie size. A more traditional drop method allows for a wider range of cookie sizes without additional investment in kitchen tools. Thank you to those of you who've subscribed, by the way. It's nice to have you here crafting and cooking with me. The Foley cookie dropper is a small stainless steel tool that measures about 6 inches long and 2 inches wide. It's only a ½ inch thick, so it stores well in a kitchen drawer. It works exactly the same whether held with the left or right hand, so this tool is lefty friendly. Moving on to the test. The original cookie dropper packaging exclaims, "No spoon and finger," so I'm going to test the usefulness of this cookie dropper by putting it up against the traditional spoon and finger method that it was invented to improve upon. For my dough, I'm using the Cocoa Drops recipe from the Betty Crocker Cooky Book. I added chocolate chips and sprinkle mix because I want to see if the cookie dropper gets hung up on mix-ins, especially ones that vary in size. I'll be judging for speed, consistency of cookie size, and cookie attractiveness. Betty Crocker's Cooky Book is still in print, by the way, so I'm going to leave an affiliate link to it below in case you'd like to get a fresh copy. There are also a lot of beautiful, well-loved copies available online if you're in the market for a vintage version. For each method, I dropped 2 dozen cookies at the fastest speed that was comfortable. I was aiming for teaspoonfuls as described in the recipe. Teaspoonfuls is a term that has always seemed really vague to me, but that I interpret to just mean medium size. To keep the experiment consistent, the way they fell was the way they baked. I didn't reshape the cookies at all once they were on the sheet. The chips and sprinkles didn't trip up the cookie dropper, which was promising. Into the oven for just 10 minutes. If you're liking this video and you have a second to hit the like button, I'd really appreciate it. And now they're out. I thought the recipe I chose would turn out cuter than this, but the good news is that they did end up tasting really good. Now it's time to evaluate the traditional method versus the cookie dropper. Including the time it took to wash the utensils afterward, the traditional drop method took 2 minutes and 25 seconds, and the cookie dropper method took 2 minutes and 22 seconds. So not exactly a big time savings, but maybe the cookie dropper will have strengths in other areas. Next, I'm comparing the consistency of the cookie size. I'm not worried about the cookies being a specific size, just that they're the same size as each other so that they bake evenly. The batches look pretty similar, but the traditional drop method resulted in a cookie size that was slightly more consistent. To be fair, this could probably be improved with practice. As for attractiveness of shape, neither batch appears to be a clear winner. Looking at the results of my experiment here, it seems that the only real advantage to using a cookie dropper is that it keeps your hands out of the food. Although, this could also be achieved using a 2-spoon method, so I guess I can see why the cookie dropper fell out of favor. But there were a lot of these around back in the day, so I'm sure there are people who still prefer the cookie dropper today. If you're one of those people, or if you think I'm missing a key advantage here, please drop a comment below to let me know what you think. If you're interested in purchasing a Foley cookie dropper, you're in luck. Although this tool is no longer in production, used ones are fairly easy to find online by searching for the phrase cookie dropper. The stainless steel holds up well, and vintage cookie droppers are still pretty easy to find on eBay, so it's a great gadget to buy vintage anyway. Next time on Craft Review Vintage Kitchen, I'll be checking out this classic push-button cherry pitter, so be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified when that video goes up, as well as other videos from Craft Review. Thank you for watching. Bye.